Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Stratford End. I trust that you all are well, especially after the win that we had in the FA Cup. Yes, it was not the best performance, but we are nonetheless through. And as I have said before, the Reds definitely do go marching on. And as you can see with me, I have James, also known as my father, who is the man who has made me the United fan that I am today. And today's video, he's going to be with me discussing and debating our next game, which is against West Brom at the Hawthorns, which is one of our most difficult places to go whenever there are a team that we face. So, based on your views throughout the season, how do you feel we have performed over the season thus far? And also, how are you doing? And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, to get to your question as quickly as I can, um, if one or any fan refer to the log where United is second at the moment, one would then say they played well, the season has started well, they have been consistent, and they are really deservingly to be there. That is the picture that the second spot actually portrays. But in hindsight, they didn't really play that well. They should have won games where they drew or lost. That would have put them in a better position, maybe closer to Man City or maybe top of the log. But there was some inconsistencies. But if you want to refer to them being second on the log, yes, one can say they have played well, not consistent. They should have won games where they drew and lost, like I said, and they would have been in a much better position. Second at the moment is a bit pressurized because the third spot, um, I'm sure they're only aiming for top spot. It's all pressure that they actually put on themselves.
Yes, and it's true what you say about putting pressure on themselves because, over the season, a lot of the players that we have played in the team, I mean, Ole has done many changes, whether it's been tactical, whether it's been to rest players or to give players opportunities to perform based on previous games where they haven't performed. And perhaps that has caused certain players not to perform to their best. Maybe that allowed us not to be consistent. And with that being said, which player are you impressed with most throughout the season thus far?
Well, if I look at, and the name is on everybody's lips, Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. Whose player has excelled the most? What player made a difference in the team? One would say Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. But I think it's a collective effort, and actually one player that really put the foot wrong. Maybe his technical abilities is not that good for now, but I think he's still growing. When we bought Bruno Fernandes, he was already a made player. He came from Sporting Lisbon. He was the most important player there. He was the captain there. So he was kind of the ideal package. Whether he fitted into United's team or the plans that the coach has got for the season, um, yeah, he actually got close to that plan, and I think he's still um, trying to fit in players. The other team players are trying to play the game the way he dictates. But one player that I would put if I should have the opportunity to choose the 11, Wan-Bissaka is the player that for me has been consistent. He's dedicated, he's energetic, and he tackles and he goes for the ball. He's a box to box player. Like I said earlier, he needs to work on his technical abilities because crossing the ball in from the right hand side It's important. That's a game changer. So that area he needs to work on. And I tell you, and I will tell any United fan, should he get to a point whereby he is good as maybe one of Barcelona's players or Real Madrid, crossing the ball in after beating a couple of players. If he is consistent in crossing the ball and assisting in a goal, he would then be the ideal player.
And it is quite amazing that you say that, because if you look at the last few seasons, since Guardiola came into the Premier League and Klopp, they basically used both their left back and right back as form of wing backs in a sense to cross from that particular position. And you saying that Wan-Bissaka has been your player of the season thus far, based on his defensive performances and that he has to improve on his technical aspect and going forward and his crosses. That being said, on the other hand, it's Luke Shaw that is being praised by the media and everyone saying that he's actually the player of the season thus far for United. So it is interesting to note that the way Liverpool played with their fullbacks, it's also seen now that our fullbacks are starting to do that, and it is also seen that all his tactics are coming through, as you have said. Moving along, the latest performance we had against West Ham, which was not a very good performance. I think it was a second string team that Ollie played, but McTominay came on, scored the goal. We went through, and your opinion on the performance of that game?
Well, I think OJ's team that he put out was a very good team, but the plan wasn't right. Look, David Moyes knows United. He knows United, but he doesn't know OG. He doesn't know how OG operate in terms of certain stages of the game. But the one thing that I don't want to see is where OG becomes predictable. He puts out a certain team, and everybody knows that is how that team plays. Because if you play Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka on the left and the right, you know they're going to be box to box. So you can tell your players to play a high line, so which means they need to defend. So I think technically his game plan wasn't right. Maybe his changes wasn't right also, because he should have attacked more. He should have attacked more, because for me West Ham was sitting back and waiting for United. That's why United had so much of the ball. I think they had about 65% of the ball the entire game. So that alone tells you, yes, we attacked and West Ham laid back, playing the counter attack. But they can't counter attack because they don't have fast players that can support that.
Mr. Mikel Antonio, yes, through injury.
Exactly. So their OG should have taken the game. He should have taken the game. He should have realized they don't have sufficient players or players with the ability to have a counter attack. So we can play a high line. So McTominay scored a goal. It's a good thing, but we could have lost the game also.
And that being said, with West Ham sitting back and sitting deep and wanting to play on the counter attack, we definitely will see that against West Brom in our next game. We know the Hawthorns is not a ground where we have done well. When we do, we tend to get the points, but it's always very difficult for us. So, based on the performance against West Ham and how we know the history when we do play at West Brom, what predicted 11 do you think OG might use?
Okay, he most probably will play a 4-3, 4-3-3. Maybe the Gia will be his choice goalkeeper. However, I want to see a radical change. You look at West Brom. If you look at the history, they have been relegated for 11 times since 2002. 11 times they have been relegated. If you look at um, the 5 matches, just 5 matches uh, going back, they lost 4 games, they drew one. So um, they are, if we want to say as United can win the game easily, but that is also what we thought against Sheffield United,
Yes.
and we lost.
Yeah.
However, there's a big difference between Sheffield United and West Brom. West Brom has got 10 weaknesses to 0 strengths, right? They don't attack where it matters. They are afraid to do tackles in strategic areas of the field. Um, they are um, the weakness are in set plays. Teams actually beat them on maybe set plays. Um, they are they've only got one player that really um, can make a difference in terms of attacking, but one player can't make a difference. I mean, Furlong is the person with the most um, attacking energy. The rest rates about 6.5. All of them rates 6.5 because of their work rate. So one player doesn't really make a difference. So, like I said, West Brom has got more weaknesses than strength. If you look at where they are, 18th on the log, United should win the game easily. I think 4-1 should be a really realistic score. Um, but we also had that kind of thinking when we played Sheffield United. We went in there um, thinking, okay, we can beat this team. But thinking that you can beat the team slow down your ability to attack and to defend. And that's exactly what happened. Because uppermost in their mind was, oh, we can beat this team. We are top of the log. It's not the case. Even the lowest team in the league can beat you. I mean, it happened with Liverpool. It can happen to Man City. So we really need to brush up on our attack. Our defense is okay. Sometimes they're a bit shady, sometimes they're a bit shaky, but they also make unnecessary foolish mistakes. So I see the team that I would feel is the gear, although I want to give Henderson a chance, big games, or give him more game time. Then I want to see Luke Shaw on the left, Wan Bissaka on the right. I would then have Maguire and Bailly, not Lindelof. I would have Bailly. But the 4 needs to be in a half circle motion. Né? So you have your 4, and then I will play 2 in front of the defense. That is Pogba and McTominay. Then I would ask Bruno to be in front of the 2, and then I will play 3 in front. On the left, I will play Rashford, and on the right, I will play Greenwood. Right in the middle, I will play Cavani.
So just on the one note, it was also reported that Paul Pogba is out for a couple of weeks and he might be back for our big game against Chelsea. So since he won't be able to play, who would you replace him with in the team?
Well, I would give the new guy Diallo.
Amad Diallo Traore, who's a right winger.
Yes, I will give him a chance. I will give him a chance. Or maybe I will play Fred and take Fred off maybe before the first half end, and then I will play Traore.
So you don't think that maybe after West Ham's game, Johnny not having the best performance, and maybe you should come into midfield against West Brom?
Look, what I saw of Donny is he's kind of all over the shop because the players don't support him in going forward. He's got to go find the ball. He's got to make runs in order to get the ball. And I want to see only play him in his preferred position, which is, I think, just behind the strikers. And the players, like they support Bruno and Pogba and all the midfield players, whether you're attacking or holding, the other players need to support him. They need to play around him because he's a very good player. He played well in the Netherlands. He's a good player, so why not build the play plan around him and Bruno?
Yes, and I again totally agree with you. So it's going to be an interesting game for us, definitely against West Brom, and it's definitely going to be an eye opener for to see exactly how the players' reaction will be.
Yeah, look, we do not have a very good record in terms of last season. I can remember we struggled winning games away.
Yes.
This season is a bit better. I think we have won 80% of our games away. But I want Ole to be more uh, fearless in his attacking strategy. You know, yes, our defense is solid, our midfield is solid, but our strikers need to be fearless. They need to have more energy on the ball. They need to be more tactful, and they need to support one another. If you, in a second, can see that the shot that's for you on, but you can't take it, pass the ball, pass the ball, assist, and that is how you win games. But if you are selfish, you will miss the post, and you will tell yourself, I could have passed.
And that is what happened with most of our recent games and our forwards being selfish and not, making that pass to someone in a better position.
Yeah.
But I definitely thank you for being on the show. The insight that you have given is definitely wonderful. I'm sure that everyone that's watching will definitely enjoy the video, and I thank you guys for watching, and thank you for joining us. And it is bye from me and the Stretford Inn. Enjoy the game.